I hope India will back us up in this as well, because we do think that this is in the interest of everybody all over the world. If we start a game where it's okay to start to go and try to annex regions that you have absolutely no right to and no claim to whatsoever.
With us, and welcome to ANI. First
Hello.
of all, I just want to ask you about the recent developments regarding Greenland. US President Donald Trump has renewed his push to take over Greenland, and his administration has said military force is amongst the options that are being considered. How do you see these statements coming from US?
It's very concerning, and of course very unacceptable that we are being threatened with military force by the United States. We would have never imagined that would happen. It is quite shocking. It is new that you are threatening allies, countries that have done absolutely nothing against you, except for being very, very loyal allies. And it's concerning for other countries as well, because if Denmark can be the target of such aggression, nobody's going to be safe. I mean, Venezuela was attacked last week. You can agree or not agree to it, but there was reason. There was some tension and hostility. But in the case of Greenland, there is absolutely no excuse. There's no threat. There's no hostility. There's no need, because the Americans already have access to Greenland, both militarily and in all other ways. There's no drug lords. There's no illegitimate government in Greenland. There's absolutely no justification for it. No historical ownership, no broken treaties. Nothing can justify it. So if Greenland and Denmark can be target of aggression like that, who's next? It's very concerning.
So the justification that was given to the world was that Europe and Denmark are not doing enough to secure the region, and there is a threat from Russia, and Chinese missile threat is there. So do you think there is a missile threat from Russia and China, and Europe is not doing enough?
No, it's complete nonsense. First of all, there are no threats against Greenland. The only threat is the United States. This talk about China threatening Greenland is a fake story. They don't have any activity there. They don't even have a consulate. They don't have any mining. They don't own anything, and certainly nothing militarily. You'll struggle to find even a Chinese restaurant in Greenland. That's how little China is in Greenland, and they don't have any intention of taking it. So it's a fake story that the Americans are spreading to justify that they have to move in. And even if it were true, the Americans already have military access to Greenland, and they have chosen to downscale it by 99%. They used to have 15,000 troops in Greenland. Today they have decided to only have 150. So, and that clearly shows that it's not true, and they know it's not true, that there should be these big Chinese or Russian threats towards Greenland, because then they would have had a larger military presence already.
So we have seen the statements from European Union. They have issued a statement projecting a united front in support of Denmark. In your view, in your assessment and views, has Europe been strong enough in its response, and does more needs to be done to deter such claim?
We have been actually very grateful for the strong support we have received from all European capitals and from many, many other places in the world. We appreciate that a lot, because it is important that someone helps us. We are a small country of 6 million people. Americans are 60 times larger than us in terms of population. So obviously we cannot push back alone against the Americans. So we need others to help us. We're not asking for military support at the moment. We still consider it very unlikely that the Americans would attack us militarily. But the threat of annexation through other means is also unacceptable. So there is still a big threat. We don't expect fighting, and if that were to happen, it would be the biggest self-inflicted damage that any country has ever done to its own standing in the world, and the entire Western Alliance would fall apart. So that would be very, very stupid. And we don't consider the Americans stupid. So we certainly don't expect that they will do that. But it's crazy that they don't just answer no when they're asked again and again whether a military attack on Greenland is an option.
So what all options are there according to you? What is the solution of the entire situation? Because we have seen the remarks from US administration. They are not backing down and they are not listening. And what is the option according to that is there to resolve this issue?
There really isn't an issue with Greenland because the Americans already have access to everything they could possibly want. And that's actually the challenge. Because what should we give them that they don't already have? When you already have full access, it's difficult to improve. But they will have to articulate what it is that they think they need. And if they have needs that are not met today, we'll be happy to talk about it. We have never objected to an American presence in Greenland. So they can be there as much as they want. But they can't have the sovereignty and they can't run the country. The Greenlanders have said it so clearly and so many times. They are not for sale. They do not want to become Americans. And they have to respect that. This would be a hostile takeover. It's not a liberation of Greenland. It is a hostile takeover, and the Greenlanders are angry about this. And we are too in Denmark, to be quite honest.
Sir, hypothetically speaking, if the US were to pursue any concrete action against Greenland, what would that mean for the future of NATO, according to you?
I think it's a very hypothetical situation still. We don't expect a military attack. If it were to happen, it would be the end of NATO. Denmark would invoke Article 5 in NATO treaty that says that all other countries will then have to come to help us to protect Greenland. And that would, of course, be the end of NATO. But even the threats, even the talk about it is insane. We have an alliance to protect ourselves from others taking our territory, not to allow alliance members to take territory, obviously. That's not the actions of allies. That's the actions of enemies. So it's absurd. And we hope it stops real soon, especially because it is so unnecessary. Not only completely unjustified, without a shadow of a reason or an excuse for attacking or trying to annex Greenland, but also completely unnecessary because the Americans already have the access that they could dream of. And we have never objected to an American presence. So let's pick up the phone, talk together, and then see what we can do for the Americans that they don't think we're doing. But it has to be real concerns. I mean, it cannot be made up stories about how China is about to take up Greenland, because that's not the case.
So finally, I want to ask you, what are your expectations from India on this issue? India is an important strategic partner to both Europe and the United States and has growing interest in the Arctic. What are your expectations from India in this issue?
I'm very grateful that you take interest in this in India also. Greenland is far away from India, but there are really important principles at stake here also for a country like India. Are you going to accept that a foreign power goes to a region in a country and tries to annex it through military means or through bribing the local population into leaving the country? I think India would be very angry if it happened to a region of India as well, and so should every country. And hopefully we can all agree to try to keep the world as a place where you sort of respect borders and you don't start unnecessary wars and you're not hostile to each other in the way that we are unfortunately experiencing at the moment. So I hope India will back us up in this as well, because we do think that this is in the interest of everybody all over the world. If we start a game where it's okay to start to go and try to annex regions that you have absolutely no right to and no claim to whatsoever, then the world is going to be a very chaotic place.